This type of construction consists of a framework understructure and an anatomically shaped overlying structure in the form of full contour crowns or an anatomically shaped structure with mamellons. The multilayer bridge workflow automatically splits full anatomy designs into two parts, completely without undercuts. Two separate files are also automatically created as an output for production. To create an order for a multilayer bridge, first mark the abutment teeth, then click Frame and choose Anatomical Coping and the preferred material. Then mark the pontic and go to Frame once again and choose the Anatomical Pontic. Now mark both abutment teeth once again, then go to Anatomy. Choose Crown and the material for the overlaying structure and its color. Then mark the pontic again and go to Anatomy and click Crown Pontic. At the end, mark all three teeth. Go to Bridge and make sure that you select the preferred type of multilayer bridge. When finished, click Scan. When Dental Designer opens, place annotations in the sequences shown in the Overview window. The Insertion Direction step comes next. This is an important step that ensures the correct fit and seal of the restoration. The software automatically calculates the best insertion direction with the least amount of undercuts, but you are still able to set the insertion direction manually. Once the insertion direction for the bridge, as well as the margin line and the die interface for both teeth are set, you can start designing the bridge. Now, in the anatomy design step, the software will automatically place the teeth. You can change the design using the Smile Composer's Smile library. It is here where you can select the mamellons library instead of anatomy shapes. Then using the Sculpt toolkit, you can adjust the design according to your wish. At first, adjust the length, shape and size of the teeth, according to the remaining teeth and occlusion. When positions are set, you can modify the connectors. To do that, click Next. The connectors that you can modify here are between the crowns in the future overlying layer. You can minimalize it if crowns are connected by their anatomy. Once done, click Next. Now you will be taken to the Frame Design step, where you can modify the frame. You can use all the available functions here for coping design, as well as the Sculpt toolkit. First, adjust the settings for both copings according to your needs. Remember to tick the Remove Undercuts button in order to easily slide on the overlying structure. Next, set all settings for the pontic. Create a lingual band to have a margin for the overlying structure and remove undercuts to allow for sliding it on. When the positions and shapes are set, you should modify the connectors. When you modify these, slide the view in and out of the crowns to be sure that the connectors do not protrude through the design. Apart from the restraints created by the crown design, always remember about the material requirements. Click Next to get to the Finalize step when ready. Here in the Sculpt Frame Design substep, you have the possibility to once again adjust the frame design, but this time as one piece. Once ready, click Next to move to the Sculpt Anatomy Design substep, where you have again the possibility to adjust the anatomy of your overlay. We recommend to check the Non-Millable Areas option in the visualization sliders and set its value according to the size of the tools you are going to use. This way, you are able to see all the areas which won't be milled with a certain burr size during the manufacturing process. Smoothing those areas at this point definitely saves time for the lab technician during manual processing. Having your design ready, click Next to get to the Split Layers step. At that step, your design will be divided into two separate designs. This substep in the workflow allows you to apply some measures that ensure the perfect fit of the two parts after production. For example, the Remove Undercuts option, which is checked by default, removes undercuts in the copings and pontic constructions, enabling the sliding on of the anatomy layer to the framework. The Drill Compensation option, when checked, applies drill compensation on the inside of the anatomy layer. Linear space and extra linear space, when checked, allow you to specify the distance between the anatomy and the framework. Anatomy Edge Protection allows you to add additional material to the anatomy around the edges so that it does not chip off during manufacturing. When you are ready with your design and its settings, click Next to move to the pre-manufacturing step, where your design will be placed in a material block. Because of the size of the bridge, it may be necessary to cut the bridge into separate parts. For that, go to the Settings window and use the Cut tool to place a cutting line. Setting the width of the cut is also possible if necessary. Once cut, your design will be placed into the corresponding amount of material blocks. The position of the design in the material block can be adjusted using the control spheres. You can do the same with the sprue too. If the material block or connector turns red, it means that there was a violation of the material block boundaries. Once the design is placed properly, click Next to get to the Save step, where both designs will be saved.